There was another victory tonight. He had a victory, but we have had a victory for the cause of liberty tonight. There is no doubt that this whole effort that we are involved in will not go unnoticed. Let me tell you. I think the intellectual revolution that's going on now to restore liberty in this country is well on its way, and there's no way they're going to stop the momentum that we have started.
Well, that was, of course, U.S. Congressman Ron Paul of Texas early this evening proclaiming a victory of his own tonight in New Hampshire. NBC News is projecting that Romney is the winner, of course, the New Hampshire primary. No surprise there. But Ron Paul won, according to us at NBC. He came in second, followed by John Huntsman in third. Newt Gingrich, by the way, and Rick Santorum were back in the pack, fighting for fourth with about 10% of the vote each. By the way, Ron Paul is a true libertarian who has been making inroads with war-weary voters for a long time, speaking forcefully about ending America's wars overseas. With me now is Doug Wead, a senior advisor to the Ron Paul. Doug, congratulations, because in a way there was questions all day about whether your candidate could come in second. He's won an uncontested second place tonight. And it's interesting, and I want you to put it in your words. Your candidate, the congressman, spoke about having a victory tonight. Why is coming in second for Ron Paul a victory?
Because it's Mitt Romney's home state, and because he's been up against a very negative portrayal. And thank God for Al Gore and the Internet. People can go to the Internet and they can read the facts. And, they don't trust professionals anymore, whether it's lawyers or doctors. They Google the facts. And this is no longer a country of the pundits, by the pundits, and for the pundits. I mean,
well, one pundit I know believes that the good thing about the Ron Paul campaign is that it appeals to the original Republican Party, not the party polluted by the segregationists who joined it in the 60s or the moral majority who brought their thoughts into the party and changed it. And, of course, the neocons who came in later, the people, the droppings, I should call them, of the Democratic Party, I think have hurt the Republican Party intellectually and screwed it up. But your candidate seems to appeal to youth. He appeals to people who are tired of all these wars, these overcommitments overseas. In many ways, like the older Barry Goldwater appealed to people. What is his? Distill it down. What does he have that appeals to people in their 20s? My kids take a good look at him. I think they won't vote for him. They won't get a chance probably in the general. But what is it about him that appeals to kids in their 20s?
He's incorruptible, and corruption has become a big deal. I mean, now your car mechanic can tell you about the Federal Reserve. And here are these young students who are paying 8%, 12%, some of them 16% interest on their student loans, and they read about this fight to keep the Federal Reserve from being transparent and being audited. And when Ron Paul gets a partial audit, we get a little look, we see $16 trillion. The national debt's only $14 trillion. $16 trillion created in 2008, given to these banks that sit on the board, their own banks. Conflict of interest. 0% interest loans, and then you students, you're going to pay a 6%, 8%, 12%. It's sickening. Okay. And they want Ron Paul to be their commander-in-chief. They know Ron Paul isn't going to send them to war to make some contractor rich. So I think it's corruption. It's corruption on Wall Street, on K Street, and lobbyists. And here's an old country doctor who won't take the congressional pension, who gives back some of his own congressional allowance to the U.S. Treasury, who's incorruptible. And you couldn't make up something like Ron Paul.
And he's also anti-war, right? Generally speaking, he comes off as a person who's not for these overseas adventures of W's persuasion, right? Is it fair to say that's a big part of his appeal?
Absolutely. You remember in 1964 how they railed about Barry Goldwater, and they called him dangerous because if he's elected president, he'll trigger a nuclear war. Now they're saying Ron Paul is dangerous because if he's elected president, he won't. Well, the young people don't mind having peace.
Okay, let me ask you about the realities of life here. And I have nothing against him personally, but Ron Paul's 76. He'll be 77 next year. Is he actually running to become president of the United States? Or is this another kind of purpose here besides actually winning in reality?
He's running for president. We like 76, the spirit of 76. One of our forum writers said, hey, 76 trombones led the big parade.
Okay.
And for us, you know, look at Adenauer. He was 89. He was still in power. And de Gaulle at 76. It's not unprecedented. The hard
Okay, you're
thing
for
is,
seriously wrong. Okay, to get to the presidency, you may have to go by another route. Have you foreclosed going by the third-party route if you don't win the Republican nomination?
It's not going to happen. It'll be fun for you guys to talk about it. We see this as essentially as a two-man race. I know it's more fun for you guys to have the horse race, and some of us tonight we're rooting for Huntsman because we'd like for him to stay in and take votes away from Romney. But Huntsman's not even on the ballot in Illinois or Arizona. There are 4 Greens running for president in Arizona. Huntsman's not even on the ballot in Arizona. Santorum, Gingrich not in Virginia. So it's a two-man race right now.
Well, I think you guys are going to blow it because I think there's going to be a third-party opportunity out there. If Romney wins the Republican nomination, there's a lot of room to his right, and somebody else is going to grab it, and you guys are going to wish you did. Anyway, thank you, Doug Wead. You're ready to forego an obvious route to the White House. That's your call.